So I can't wait to see what the side stream has to offer us. Okay, looks good. Sorry, I was looking to see if there was a camera there, but unfortunately, to no avail.
All right.
This is going to be fun. We're going to get Ardot starting off. We got Yin Yang as well. So another heavy match between both of these guys to start off.
A big heavy match, one which is going to be stray hit reliant, I think, for openings, and then heavy reads for a character such as Incineroar, and then combo starters, especially Crown. But as you can see, Yin Yang starting off strong.
Yeah, gets huge triple up air off of the Darkest Lariat as well. Ardot trying to answer back with a back air spike. Not going to get much out of it, but a really good punish on that up B with the dash attack. Ardot, even though he's at a bit of a deficit and Yin Yang had a really good start, it looks like Ardot knows what he's doing. Tries to go for the up smash, tries to read the mash of Yin Yang. Couldn't get it, gets another forward air. Yin Yang off stage. Once again, it gets red.
Up right there. Man, what an awesome end to that stock.
Yeah, getting the dash attack off as well, but 10%. You gotta watch out. The Alolan Whip sending him very far off. Yin Yang looking primed to take this stock right now. Really good landing forward air on that blunderbuss and getting some revenge off of the Crown as well. The Alolan Whip should do the trick. No, it does not. Not even center stage.
Not even center stage, but this is what happens when you're up against a mega heavy character such as King K. Rool. Going for the down air, not going to get it quite yet, sending him at an obscene angle. Waiting patiently, trying to bait out that return option.
Yeah. Good back air to finally take that stock. Yeah, Ardot trying to go for these down tilts on ledge to punish Yin Yang's high recoveries, which he's been going for a lot. Getting a little bit of revenge on that, able to avoid the dash attack from Ardot. Still has it on him. Can he utilize it? Gets a little bit of the Darkest Lariat right there. 27%. Keeps on chipping away at the stock, but finally sends Ardot off stage.
Yeah, sends Ardot off stage, sends him into disadvantage. There is, ooh, all right. Ardot not going to care about that disadvantage, just going to come back and make it up. You know, that's just what King K. Rool does. If you are the king of the crocodiles, you know, that's just what you do. This is your stage. He is showing that this is his game to win. Ooh. Finding so much damage right here versus Yin Yang. Yin Yang able to send him off into disadvantage. Followed up with a Nair into the F-Smash. He's dead for that, yep.
Mega dead as Yin Yang going to be knocked out very early on for Rutgers B. And for once, they've actually been at a deficit these crew battles against Montclair Red.
Well, I am excited to see what happens in our next game. Ardot clearly on a winning streak. That was a hot game, as you see, as he was playing. He was finding all of these options. He was putting Yin Yang into a disadvantage. Even when Yin Yang did the right thing, it felt like Ardot always had a follow-up of his own in order to send Yin Yang back into a place where he didn't want to be.
Yeah, no, and I wonder who they're going to bring in. They're going to bring in CS as the next player, so that's going to be Bowser Jr., coming in to fight against Ardot, who does have 2 stocks, by the way, and quite the lead to have in a crew battle, especially at the start.
Especially at the start, but starting off strong right now for Montclair Red. He is here as an invader. He is here with a lot to prove right now. All right, but CS coming in with a heavy of his own right now versus E-Heavy himself, King K. Rool. Let's get started.
Yeah. Epitome of a heavy hitter that is Bowser Jr. Just does so much damage in a blink of an eye. All it takes is just one hit, maybe an up tilt and up throw at low percentages to just combo into that ladder. I think this is really good for Montclair Red, who again have a lot of experience against a guy like Tough Ludwig, and arguably better than CS for that matter. Going for the forward throw, not going to get much out of it. Just going to take the hit of the Mecha Koopa. CS struggling to find his way in, just getting these landing and nairs, which have been doing good, but not leading up to any confirm or any combo.
Yeah, not leading up to so many confirms or combos, but going to, as you notice, the abandoned ship, using it as an effective edge guard tool right now versus Ardot. Ardot lying in wait while he is underneath of CS, trying to find an opening, and instead going to eat the back air.
Right, almost killing right there. Goes for the up B and untechable on that ledge. Abandoned ship. Gonna knock off that first stock. for a second stock for Montclair Red, with the first stock taken for CS.
Nasty angle of that abandoned ship. I saw him doing it earlier and knew he was using it to get some damage and an edge guard, but now I see the vision, and I can say it is a formidable weapon of destruction.
Definitely. Oh, and the up smash going to catch that landing from CS. Something that Ardot's been doing very well are these juggling situations where his opponent's going to be up in the air. He's been really consistent with his up smashes, his up airs even for that matter, trying to read that roll in, does so successfully. CS trying to get the stock as soon as possible, doesn't want to think about the potential of losing another stock, but Ardot looking so good right now with the way that he's been playing stage control.
Doing so well, but I think CS has been doing a good job of racking up this damage and getting him to, and getting Ardot especially to a kill percentage. His edge guards today have been on point right now versus Ardot. He is finding all of this. Oh my goodness, getting the back throw right now, sending him into disadvantage yet again.
Not what a tech! Oh, the double tech!
And he comes back to stage. What a formidable opponent.
Crazy stuff from Ardot, getting that double parry. This could be a second stock right here for CS. What? Oh, and the air dodge gonna cost Ardot that stock when he was so close to getting an edge guard. Unfortunately, going for that air dodge was the detriment. And gonna unfortunately fall to CS, who once again gets a bit lucky when coming back on the stage.
Gets a bit lucky. However, throughout that game, you notice that he was the person who was sending Ardot into disadvantage, using that abandoned ship as his edge guarding tool of choice. He did a lot of work on stage as well to get Ardot into as high of a percent as he could in order to go for those punishes. So I would say a little bit of luck, but quite a lot of skill on CS's part.
Right. All right. CS gonna go up against Omni Element, who has not only an Aegis, but also has a Shulk under his arsenal. I think Shulk is his main, but Aegis is a very, very strong secondary that he has built up to be tournament ready as well. So CS got a lot of work ahead of him. But what do you think the better character here is? Do you think it's Aegis? Well, he's chosen. But do you think Shulk would have been better here?
I think from what we saw earlier, Shulk can be a very strong counter pick for a character such as Ludwig. I think especially because of his range, that a lot of the attacks of a character such as Ludwig are not going to hit before he gets hit by the giant sword. Now, Aegis also has a giant sword. However, I think that due to her recovery and due to the lightness of a character such as Mithra, she might have a harder time getting started. All right. All right, here we go. Starting off, both of these players in neutral. The first hit, however, is going to go to CS, as both of them are finding their openings, getting started with some quick damage right now from Mithra, from Omni. Omni utilizing in his aerials right now, trying to get some damage right now, putting CS right on the platform, exactly where he doesn't want to be versus a character like Mithra, further sending him into disadvantage to the other side of the stage, continuing up with the platform, switching to Pyro right now to go for the finishing kill.
Yeah, no, I mean, CS is really struggling fighting these swords or these aerials from Omni Element, where, again, he's just been so sharp at being able to juggle, getting that down air spike, not getting much out of it, just trying to go for a roll read or a tech chase of some sorts. To no avail, the Prominence Revolt going to knock off that stock off of CS, and Omni Element looking super strong, but can still lose the first stock, potentially two. But I think for CS right now, all you can think about is taking out the first one.
Yeah, honestly, despite the stock lead, I do think that Omni, unfortunately, is... Oh, no, never mind. He is continuing with the damage right now, bringing CS up to a pretty formidable percentage, and then continuing on with the damage as well. This Mithra is strong, folks.
It's been chasing down CS this entire game, and you can see it through these dash attacks and even in the air, right? Omni Element is not only waiting for CS to make the first move, and both these guys are just playing some really phenomenal neutral right now. Omni Element, oh no, doesn't get the right punish, actually goes for the side B instead. CS definitely could have capitalized, but couldn't get much out of it. A missed input might cost him this set, but gets the clown car off just in time to spin out, gonna knock off that stock.
Just to get that stock, however, CS not going to give up quite yet. He has more damage to take, and he wants to keep this winning streak going right now for Rutgers B team. However, here comes the Pyra out with her heavy sword, coming to do some quick damage right now. Already in disadvantage. Going to look, yeah, getting hit by the down tilt, sent to the center stage. Look at the spacing right now from both of these players, both of them trying to find their openings, playing so patiently right now, especially at a percentage like this, something killable for both of them.
Yeah, and it's, trying to go for the up smash. CS can definitely take another stock here. He just needs to play this super carefully, not play in this range, sword range, that Omni Element is playing in, because he's just been getting absolutely flustered, absolutely choked out, and the up tilt gonna knock off that stock. Another 2-stock lead secured for Montclair Red.
Honestly, we've been seeing some great stuff today from Montclair Red. Omni Element really playing in his head today. He is doing so well. I think that the spacing, especially that we saw in this game, knowing when to punish and then being able to have the ability to rack up so much damage is so crucial in a set like this versus a character who does so much versus a character like Aegis. Not letting his... I was surprised to see that CS didn't exploit Aegis's recovery as much.
Yeah.
I think especially a character with a punishable recovery like Aegis, there was a bit more that CS could have done. I know, like, speaking as a caster, I'm not the person on the sticks, and if I were to get on the sticks right now, it would not be a very pretty sight. Let's be quite honest.
Yeah, but that just kind of comes down to Omni Element's ability to just stay on stage as long as possible. CS was the one that was actually in the air, putting himself in disadvantage, and Omni Element not really put in a position to go off stage that much and to be gimped for that matter. So really good stage control by Omni Element. We could see a little bit more of that right now as he goes up against Sunbun's Falco. And that's going to be a fun matchup. I think Sunbun's going to be a little bit more confident with going for these edge guards that you were talking about, which you have to do against Pyra and Mythra.
Yes, absolutely. I think Sunbun has a lot on his side, especially with speed in the air. Some of his key combo starters, I think, are going to be super important for this, as well as his edge guarding.
Yeah, definitely. All right, going to take off, knock SD there, so he can go back down to 2 stocks. Sunbun gonna have to be super reliant on his combos, his edge guarding ability as well, to be able to knock off Omni Element if Rutgers B want to even have a chance of a comeback.
I'm not quite sure why Sunbun went for that fair right there, especially since Omni Element was able to take some quick damage from that.
Yeah.
But Sunbun continuing to go in. However, Omni Element going to be aggressive right here, switching to Pyra for a potential edge guard.
Yeah, I like the idea, right? Going to Pyra for the edge guard, then just swapping off to Mythra to outspeed Falco. And you can see right there, going for the Lightning Buster, just to maneuver around Sunbun, maybe kind of mix him up a little bit. And it's working wonders as he goes back to the Pyra, trying to go for an early kill. Now, Falco is a pretty light character, so a move like F-Tilt will definitely kill if Omni Element's able to get that hit. Sunbun not letting it happen just yet. The Providence Revolt not going to kill. Swapping up to the Mythra for a little bit, maybe just waiting for Sunbun to land on the stage, but really good awareness you can see, and a lot you can learn from Omni Element's gameplay.
I think it's interesting that Omni Element is choosing to stick with Pyra right now, especially because Sunbun, I imagine, is at such a heavy percent, and as Omni himself is getting up into the higher percents, he wants to have a character who will live a tiny bit longer than Mythra. And here he goes for that F smash at ledge, getting his first stock for this game.
Getting the air dodge read, so crucial for knocking out that stock, but so crucial for Sunbun to take that stock right there with the up tilt back air. All right, Nair coming through as well for Omni Element. Both these guys back to 0%, so just going to go resort to scrapping against each other.
Oh, and just as you were saying earlier, here's Sunbun putting Mythra at a disadvantage right now, trying to get her off stage so that he can go for a kill, especially exploiting her recovery as much as he possibly can. Finds himself in disadvantage on the upper platform, doesn't let him face him at all. He still goes for the fair, gets his damage.
And that might explain why he's going for these fairs, right? He wants to throw out a move that is able to comfortably put Omni Element off stage. And what better move than Nair, which has so much range, fair, which has so much range on that. Also, Nair's a solid option. Up tilt, maybe back air for Sunbun is in the cards right now. If he can get anything, trying to read the air dodge, can't get it. Really good up tilt, gotta land somehow against Pyra, which is super scary. Gets the laser off.
Super Scary accidentally gets hit by that side B, is going to get hit yet again, sent into disadvantage, doesn't get punished right there, and is able to find some damage for himself, sending Omni right in disadvantage, and then going for the edge guard, and still misses that Promise Revolt.
Oh, both these guys are just trying to go for empty hops. Anything to take this stock off right now. They both understand what they can do. 1, 2, 3 doesn't go for the rapid jab to kill the Mithra coming out, trying to read a roll, but the fast frame data able to let Omni Element escape from that.
Was able to utilize the stage invincibility to his advantage, gets sent off stage yet again in a dangerous situation, and it gets that stock right there for Omni Element.
Someone can still definitely take the stock and does it there at the expense of 2 stocks. You don't want to see that. He was so close to taking off that last stock of Omni Element, but just in general, really good awareness of Sunbun's habits. I think Sunbun, like you mentioned before, going for these forward airs a little bit too often. And so Omni Element was like, okay, I have a lot of moves as Pyra and Mithra to not only be able to avoid it, but to punish you for it. And also just these anti-airs from Omni Element as well. Like, that wasn't necessarily anti-air, but a really good read with that air dodge. But that up air right there, especially catching Sunbun jumping off of ledge, really, really good for Omni Element. But Sunbun finally going to knock off a strong opponent. We're seeing Diamond pull up for Montclair Red.
All right, I think Diamond has the potential to go on yet another winning streak, as he did in our earlier crew battles. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I think, like, the dominance that we saw from Diamond earlier is going to be displayed here yet again. However, I think Sunbun did very well in that last set. I think his spacing is, like, pretty good. However, going to be interesting to see regardless.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Climbers is a weird matchup. I feel like Diamond's definitely going to bank on matchup and experience from Sunbun. I don't recall the last Ice Climbers that Sunbun has even played. And again, Diamond is such a textbook Ice Climbers that actually might be a bit unraveling for Sunbun, should he be able to take a stock or even 2. But only time will tell as Sunbun goes off to knock off 2 stocks of his own. Right now in Smashville, it is a smaller stage compared to the rest of the cast, like Pokemon Stadium 2. So how do you think this stage pick would go for Ice Climbers? And would it really help to play up close against Falco?
I think it's going to be an okay sort of pick for Ice Climbers because there are fewer places for Falco to escape, especially with his maneuverability.
Yeah.
However, with a stage like this, it's also going to be a struggle for Falco to get a lot of his up air combos as well. So this is a pretty good stage pick for Ice Climbers right here.
Okay. You just have to keep on separating these Ice Climbers, both Popo and Nana. All right, good little damage. Able to avoid, really good DI to avoid those initial up airs. Getting hit with the second, at the second time of asking. Just good damage on Nana. Sends him off once again. Just
Did you see that spacing of his run? That was absolutely perfect spacing right there from Sunbun.
Oh, the F smash just to catch that forward air attempt from Sunbun. Not much you could really do from there, and an entire stock person lead that Montclair Red has. Now, the last 2 characters, or the last 2 players that they have will be a Billion Lions, and I believe, trying to think. Why am I blanking on their roster? Oh, Mamiya is also an option, and Glob. I think Glob is potentially going to be the anchor, and it looks like a Billion Lions is going to be stepping up to the plate against Diamond as Steve, which is a weird matchup to say, and I think Diamond can definitely win this if he just plays the way that he's playing. It's like, do you want a Billion Lions to just mine up all their materials and get Diamond because you're confident they're not going to hit you? Because, I mean, Diamond plays very, very slow.
Yeah, I think that that's a pretty fair assessment to make, especially against a character like Steve. As we saw earlier from a Billion Lions, a lot of his playstyle is focused on getting his resources because without them, his Steve is just kind of subpar, unfortunately, and that's kind of the hand that you draw when you get Steve. You give up good frame data instead to get good options. But going to find himself in disadvantage pretty quickly right here versus Diamond.
Yeah, trying to mine as much as possible, but the table actually blocking any sort of mining. Instead, it defaulted him, Billion Lions, to go for building a new set of tools. Oh, and the forward are going to punish that Elytra. Diamond on quite the roll, and it's looking very grim right now for Rutgers B.
Yeah, Diamond here to like blowing through the competition, honestly. The way that he's able to get so much damage off of these interactions, not giving a Billion Lions a chance to mine at all. No resources on, or well, a few amount of resources right now. Utilizing those to his advantage in order to stall a bit until he can mine again. However, Diamond going to come in pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think the thing that Billion Lions is getting exploited in is when Diamond goes for these down tilts or pressure on those walls, a Billion Lions immediately jumps in to maybe catch something. I feel like if you're a Billion Lions, if someone breaks the wall, either build another wall or don't even build a wall and just mine. I think that's the thing that he needs to be better in doing, is conserving his materials as best as he can.
Yeah, I think especially he's been unfortunately misutilizing his materials in this game. So you see but still able to get that magma block.
Yeah, getting that stock finally, but the damage that Diamond has done, it's looking like it's a little bit too much for Billion Lions to even take another stock. He's only at 0% on his second, gets the blitz wall off, not as much as he wanted to, but an amazing jet to break that crafting table as well, and you air dodge, able to come back. Not for long.
It's so interesting to see the way that the icicles are able to mess up the elytra, especially when Steve is recovering.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Steve's recovery is generally pretty good. However, the icicles making that so difficult for a Billion Lions to come back to stage. And then there we go, getting hit with the back air for some stocks for Diamond's crazy win streak right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a deserved back air. Going for a down smash in that area when you know Diamond's above you is very, very risky, and you're reaching out a little bit too far into the future. If you're a Billion Lions right there, that back air was just really good. I feel like if you're a Billion Lions, especially in there, like I mentioned before, he was going, like once he broke that little block, you saw he immediately go for a minecart. You saw he tried to go for a dash attack to try and punish Diamond, but I feel like your answer to that is to just build another wall and then just keep on mining, because we mentioned before, he didn't have any materials whatsoever. He just needed to prioritize that a little bit more. So off we go to Glob, who's going to play Yoshi against Diamond. And I mean, Diamond has had some pretty good experience with Yoshi. Like I mentioned before, having a set off of Pharaoh as recently as Battle of the Arch back in November of 2024.
Right, I am so excited to see the way that Glob comes into the fray. Maybe going to end Diamond's win streak or add to his win streak. We'll see, honestly.
All right. Potentially last game of this crew battle. Should Diamond close it out against Glob? It's only 8 stocks that you have to take, and I say only, because that is a lot against a strong team like Montclair Red. All right, starting off immediately with the icicles, trying to approach with this back air. Something that Glob has been taught by Pharaoh a lot is that if you just sit and shield, most likely your opponent is going to want to run in and do some damage. Trying to go for that forward air spike. Doesn't get it, but you can see the gears turning in Glob's brain right now.
Now, as you can see, what Glob is doing a lot in this game is he is utilizing his spacing in order to do the most damage that he possibly can, especially even if he's not doing damage, he is putting Diamond in a position where he doesn't want to be right now. Diamond fighting back, though, trying to come back, however, in disadvantage off stage versus Yoshi. Not where you want to be, and now we have the Sopo out.
And that's probably the first glimpse of not only this crew battle, but all of our crew battles where we see someone finally displace Nana the way that Glob has been doing it. And he's using Egg Lay. He's using his down smashes. He's taunting even to get into the head of Diamond. And then getting hit with an up smash himself. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
The answer back.
Yeah.
But yeah, very important that you separate the ice climbers, because that's where you do the most damage. Not only to one of them, but both of them.
Right, especially Glob having a really solid game plan here going into this game. However, he is going to be put at the edge of the stage, trying to get out of disadvantage and then getting followed up with some damage. However, Yoshi, pretty heavy dinosaur. He has the potential to do so much more to Diamond than Diamond can do to him.
Yeah.
Not when he's off stage, though.
No, not at all. When you're in a position to try and recover against a player like Diamond, going for the egg lay there, you had to go for that. But you're just going to get punished by it. Diamond's so aware of what he needs to do. And Glob down to his last stock. He had a very, very strong first stock there, or second stock against Diamond, but Looks like all for naught.
He had a very strong lead. However, I think Diamond is really showing his adaptability to a player like Blob. Blob having some good experience versus Ice Climbers. However, he is struggling to find his openings now when he knows that he is on the clock, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can, getting sent in disadvantage yet again. This is a scary place to be, utilizing Egg Leg, but it's not going to add up to very much right now.
Not just yet, at least. Glob definitely trying to go for a down smash there. Maybe was getting a little bit too much of inspiration from A Billion Lions in the last stock. Gets the jab lock, gets the F smash. All right.
All right.
A lease of life right there for Glob and Rutgers B as Diamond finally knocked off. Not taking as many stocks as he did against Montclair White, but still a very, very strong showing from Rutgers B nonetheless.
Very respectable performance right now from Blob, as we can see that they are still in the running. They are still going to try to take as many stocks as they can now. It is a pretty, I'm going to be pretty honest, it's going to be difficult, especially with how many stocks he needs to take, especially at the deficit that they're at.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
Definitely. And now they're resending out R-Dot, who I believe might be going his King K rule here. I don't know if he has another character that he plays. I think he has been practicing Aegis as well, so we could see that come out. No, it is going to be the King K rule that comes out. And the man that even gave Montclair Red the lead at the beginning, are going to try and close out this crew battle on PS2. I wonder how, well, he missed the Yoshi bomb to go off, which is kind of funny to see. All right, Bob has a lot of work ahead of him, but do you think he just plays the same, like, playstyle that he's been going for this entire time, where he just waits for his opponent to come in and then punish with a back air like that, or like go for an aerial? Or should he play a little bit more conservative?
Oh man, I mean, right now, I think the thing that he needs to do is just get out of disadvantage. He was able to get him with the cannon, however, sending him to the edge of the stage. But as you can see, Glob is able to make up this damage pretty quickly. Being a heavy character himself, being significantly faster than K-Rool, he is able to get to where K-Rool cannot. All right, and now, ooh, first stock taken for Glob versus R-Dot.
Yeah.
Here Glob goes, going for an up air string. However, R-Dot coming back to center stage, retaking the advantage, getting the crown, sending Glob exactly where he wants to go, and then following up with getting the cannonball snipe.
You do have double jump. All right, not getting the up air. Trying to go for that down smash again. R-Dot going for some crazy reads, going for the dash attack, which definitely would have been the end of that stock, trying to punish that missed forward air with an up air right there. Good egg lay or egg throw to come back. Egg lay right there. Really good nair out of that to be able to punish. That nair that King K. Rool has is devastating, but so is the up tilt. And that's a devastating loss right there for Rutgers B as Montclair Red takes it against them 5-0.
Wow, what a showing today from Montclair Red. I mean, it just felt like contender after contender and contender. I mean, especially, so we already had gotten a taste of a character like Diamond earlier today, but then to see him show up and show out versus Rutgers B team, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Right,
definitely. And that, I believe, will conclude our crew battle segment here at Scarlet Classic 10. But yeah, very, very fun stuff that we've seen from all the competitors today. Oh, do we? All right. That could be the end. We could have more. But I believe singles should be starting fairly soon. I mean, it is 3 o'clock, so I'd be surprised if we had another crew battle just being played out.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of if we have one more or not, you are not going to see the last of us today. I mean, Jellyfish especially will be on here at top 4 if you want to tune in. It's going to be pretty late by that point, but he's still going to be here. He's going to be commentating with the wonderful AG. We are going to be here all day. If you're not here yet, get up, come on, show up at your local tournament. It is awesome to be here today.
Yeah, which is kind of insane to say this is like a local tournament. Like, this is a college tournament, and you can already see in the back it's getting very cluttered up. A lot of people are going crazy right now. They're just getting their friendlies in before their matches even start. So
I think we are going to get a final crew battle in, but we're going to get confirmation from production, I believe.
All right, I think just a few moments we're going to figure out. However, if you're tuned in right now, thank you so much for doing so. Make sure, shout outs to Collision Smash right now for running production for this event. They are doing a phenomenal job. It is wonderful working with them. And then, you know what? It's just wonderful to support your local grassroots tournaments. A tournament such as Rutgers Smash is run by the students. It's wonderful to see, honestly, to see like the student involvement in Smash Brothers.
Okay, sounds good. So crew battles will be on side stream, and side stream is going to be, I believe, a mini boss and Mr. Patch, I believe, that are going to be commentating that. But over here, we are going to start singles very, very shortly. So Pearl, it was a very, very nice block to have with you. Thank you for coming out, and stay tuned. We will be coming back with Scarlet Classic singles. Peace.